Yo, I'm Sila, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to master your music using only stock plugins in Ableton Live. So what is mastering? Mastering is the process of taking a mixed piece of music and making it as loud as possible while also making it sound as good as possible on as many speakers as possible. You also want to make sure that it's as loud as other songs on streaming services so that the listener doesn't have to turn the volume up or down every single time a song changes. Here's the beat we're working with today. Alright, I like the way that sounds. So let's take a look at the mastering chain. I have this limiter on my default Ableton set, and this is the look ahead preset. This is really here to prevent any clipping while I'm producing music. But sometimes it might get in the way of a kick or an 808 sounding really hard, so just keep that in mind if you choose to do the same. And this plugin here just sends the audio from Ableton to OBS so that I can record this video. So the first thing I'm going to grab here is an EQ8 for my master track. And I'm going to switch this EQ8 from stereo mode to MS or mid-side mode. If you've never used MS mode in Ableton Live, it allows you to EQ the center separate from the sides, which is really useful when it comes to mixing low end. Low frequencies have a lot of energy, and when you have a lot of low frequencies in your left and right, it might sound good on your speakers or on your headphones, but when played on a mono speaker, i.e. many Bluetooth speakers, your signal is going to consolidate in the center and it's going to double in volume. And the unfortunate consequence of this is that all of your other sounds are going to be squashed every time the bass happens. It might kind of sound like sidechain compression a little bit on your voice or on any other instruments you have in your track that are in the mid to high range. So I'm going to switch this EQ to side mode here, and I'm going to enable this ×4 high pass filter. And my EQs are typically in monitoring mode, so I hear the things that are being changed as I sweep through my frequency bands. So let's try and roll off some of the low end from the sides. That sounds pretty tight. So let's minimize this EQ here, and next up I'm going to grab a glue compressor and I'm going to grab this mastering catch peaks preset. Now this is going to do just that. It's really looking to catch the louder elements of the song. This glue compressor has a fast attack, a fast release, a ratio of 10:1, and I'm mainly going to be adjusting the threshold, looking for the peaks. And I'm going to find the peaks by looking at how the VU meter here jumps up and down. This preset was pretty much good to go for this track. So let's minimize that, and next up I'm going to grab an EQ8. Here I'm going to do some subtractive EQing. I'm not going to go into that subject though. If you are curious about subtractive EQing, check out my video I posted a few days ago on that subject. And because the master signal is the sum of all of your other tracks in your song, you're going to find that maybe your synth has, a bit of energy around 2K, maybe your guitars also have some energy at 2K, maybe your snare has some energy at 2K, and all of that is going to add up by the time it gets to the master track. So subtractive EQing here is imperative to cleaning the entire mix together so that we create room to make it louder. So I'm just going to go through here and look for some frequencies that annoy the heck out of me and pull them out. Now I find sometimes as I do this, I might be sweeping through and not hear a frequency on the first pass, but as I remove other frequencies in my spectrum, some of these frequencies are actually just going to show themselves to me. All right, I like the way that sounds. Now that we've removed some frequencies here, the next thing we're going to add is going to be a compressor. And for this compressor, I'm going to set the attack to 5. I'm going to set my release to be really fast, and the mode is set to RMS. And I'm going to drop my threshold down to catch the peaks of the audio. I'm really only looking to catch like the highest part of this, and I'm going to then duplicate it. And on the second one, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. And with this compressor, I'm actually going to switch over here and push the output up so that it hovers somewhere around the 0 dB line here. This is actually going to end up being my main volume control for the final output of my master track, but I'm going to do another EQing after this to clean it up a little bit, since we've now potentially brought out more frequencies that we don't want through the compression. So I'll drop another EQ8 here and more subtractive EQing. Now I'm not bringing any of these bands down too much. I might actually duplicate this EQ here and reset the gains and see if there's not 1 or 2 other frequencies that are also still not great. Sometimes 8 bands is not enough. All right, I like the way that sounds. So let's go back to this compressor and see if we can't squeeze a little bit more volume out of this. So let's do an A/B listen here. I'm gonna make all of these smaller here, and I'll group everything together other than this final limiter because I want to make sure this stays on. So let's group those, and I'll turn this off. When you master your tracks, you're definitely going to want to listen to other parts of the song as you do your master.
So let's recap.
With the master signal off, our instruments have a little bit less of a sense of autonomy and ownership of their role that they play in the composition. Everything is a little bit flatter and not quite as gelled together. With the master signal on, our compressors are making everything gel together better, and when paired with our subtractive equalizing before and after the compression, we're actually preserving that sense of clarity that we got from our mix. So it's louder and still clean. Because we rolled the low end off from the sides, our master is going to sound good on any sort of mono or Bluetooth speakers, and you're not going to have to struggle with the pain of troubleshooting this for years like I did. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, consider giving it a like and subscribe to my channel for more mixing and mastering tips in Ableton Live.